Think Rich, Live Rich is not just a book about money. It is a book about a way of living, a way of seeing the world, and most importantly, a way of seeing yourself. Because long before money comes into your hands, wealth must first enter your mind. Every successful person you admire today once stood exactly where you are now, with dreams, doubts, and unanswered questions. What separated them from the rest was not luck, education, or background. It was the way they thought. We live in a world that constantly tells us to work harder, hustle longer, and sacrifice endlessly. But very few people are taught how to think differently. Very few are taught that the true source of wealth is not outside of us, but within us. Your mindset decides your income. Your beliefs decide your bank balance. Your daily thoughts quietly design your future lifestyle. This audiobook is your invitation to step into a richer way of thinking and a richer way of living. Not rich only in money, but rich in confidence, purpose, discipline, peace, and freedom. Because real wealth is not just about what you own. It is about how you live, how you feel when you wake up each morning, and how much control you have over your own time and choices. As you listen, you will begin to notice something powerful happening inside you. You will start questioning the limits you once accepted. You will start seeing opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You will start believing in possibilities that once felt impossible. This is the beginning of your transformation. Think Rich, Live Rich is not meant to be rushed. Let these words sink in. Let them reshape your thinking. Let them challenge you. Let them wake you up to the version of yourself that has always been capable of more. Because from this moment on, you are no longer preparing for success. You are stepping into it. And now, let us begin the journey. Chapter 1. The Power of a Rich Mindset. Every life you admire today began as a thought in someone's mind. Every business empire, every inspiring leader, every success story that seems larger than life started as an idea that refused to stay small. The truth is simple yet powerful. Your life will never rise higher than your mindset. You do not move toward what you want. You move toward what you believe you deserve. Most people grow up learning how to survive, but very few are taught how to think rich. They are taught to be careful, to play safe, to avoid risks, to follow the crowd. Over time, these ideas quietly settle into the mind and become invisible rules that shape every decision. People begin to believe that wealth is only for the lucky, the talented, or the already privileged. And so, without realizing it, they build a life that matches those beliefs. A rich mindset is not about greed. It is about growth. It is about seeing abundance where others see scarcity. It is about understanding that opportunities are not limited, that success is not reserved, and that your potential is not fixed. When you begin to think rich, you stop asking, "Can I do this?" and start asking, "How can I make this happen?" That shift alone changes everything. The richest people in the world do not think like the average person. They think long-term while others think short-term. They invest while others spend. They learn while others complain. They take responsibility while others look for excuses. But more than anything else, they believe deeply in their ability to create value. They do not wait for perfect conditions. They become the conditions. A rich mindset understands that failure is not an enemy. It is a teacher. Every setback carries a lesson, and every lesson carries growth. When you stop fearing mistakes, you start making progress. When you stop avoiding challenges, you start building strength. When you stop comparing your journey with others, you finally focus on your own path. Many people dream of financial freedom, but few prepare mentally for it. Because wealth demands discipline. It demands emotional control. It demands patience when results are slow and courage when risks feel heavy. A rich mindset trains you to stay calm in uncertainty and confident in the unknown. It teaches you to trust the process even when you cannot see the outcome yet. Your thoughts are quietly shaping your future every single day. The way you talk to yourself becomes the way the world responds to you. If you constantly think, I am not good enough, life will keep proving you right. If you constantly think, I am learning and growing every day, life will begin opening doors you never noticed before. You do not attract what you want. You attract who you are becoming. Think about this deeply. Two people can start at the same place, with the same resources, the same education, and the same opportunities. One builds a life of abundance. The other struggles endlessly. The difference is not intelligence. It is mindset. One believes in possibilities. The other believes in limitations. One focuses on solutions. The other focuses on problems. A rich mindset also changes the way you see money itself. Instead of seeing money as something difficult to earn, you start seeing it as a result of the value you create. Instead of chasing money, you begin chasing growth, skills, and impact. And when your focus shifts to becoming better, money naturally follows. When you think rich, you stop waiting for motivation and start building discipline. You understand that success is not built in moments of excitement, but in moments of consistency. You wake up even when you don't feel like it. You work even when no one is watching. You keep going even when progress feels invisible. That is the quiet power of a wealthy mindset. Living rich does not begin when you get your first big paycheck. It begins the moment you decide to take control of your thinking. It begins when you stop blaming circumstances and start shaping your choices. It begins when you choose growth over comfort and courage over fear. Your mind is the most powerful asset you will ever own. You can lose money and gain it back. You can lose opportunities and create new ones. But if you lose belief in yourself, everything becomes harder. A rich mindset protects that belief. It reminds you every day that you are capable of more than you think, stronger than you feel, and closer than you realize. As you move forward in this audiobook, remember this. Wealth is not a destination you reach someday. It is a mindset you build daily. Think rich, and your actions will follow. Think rich, and your habits will change. Think rich, and your life will slowly but surely begin to reflect the greatness you once only imagined. This is where your journey truly starts, not with money in your pocket, but with power in your mind. Chapter 2. Breaking the Chains of Limiting Beliefs. Before money ever becomes a problem in life, belief becomes a prison. Most people do not fail because they lack talent, opportunity, or intelligence. They fail because they carry invisible limits inside their minds, limits they never consciously chose but learned over time. These limits shape how much they earn, how boldly they dream, and how fully they live. Until these chains are broken, no amount of motivation or hard work can create lasting wealth. From childhood, beliefs are planted quietly and repeatedly. Words spoken by parents, teachers, society, and even friends begin to define what feels possible and what feels unrealistic. Phrases like money is hard to earn, rich people are greedy, be happy with what you have, or people like us don't get rich may sound harmless. But over time they sink deep into the subconscious. Eventually, these ideas stop sounding like opinions and start feeling like truth. A limiting belief does not announce itself loudly. It whispers. It shows up as hesitation when opportunity appears. It shows up as fear when growth demands discomfort. It shows up as excuses that sound logical but keep you stuck. Many people say they want success, but their beliefs are quietly voting against it every single day. The most dangerous thing about limiting beliefs is that they feel safe. They protect you from disappointment, rejection, and failure. But they also protect you from growth, abundance, and freedom. They keep your life small enough to manage, but too small to fulfill your potential. A rich life cannot be built on small thinking. Breaking free begins with awareness. You must start noticing the stories you tell yourself about money, success, and your own worth. Every time you think, I can't, I'm not good enough, or this is not for me, pause and ask where that belief came from. Was it proven by experience, or was it inherited from someone else's fear? Many people unknowingly live their entire lives inside borrowed beliefs. They follow paths designed by others and then wonder why they feel unfulfilled. The moment you question a belief, you weaken its power. The moment you challenge it, you reclaim control. A rich thinker understands that beliefs are not facts. They are habits of thought, and habits can be changed. Just because something has been true in your past does not mean it must remain true in your future. Just because you failed before does not mean you are incapable of success. Growth begins the moment you allow yourself to believe in new possibility. Limiting beliefs often show up around money in powerful ways. Some people subconsciously believe that making more money will make them selfish or disconnected from loved ones. Others believe that wealth requires suffering, stress, or constant sacrifice. These beliefs create internal conflict, where part of you wants success, but another part resists it. As long as this conflict exists, progress remains slow and inconsistent. To think rich, you must make peace with abundance. You must understand that money is not evil, success is not selfish, and wanting more does not mean you are ungrateful. Wealth, when guided by purpose, allows you to help more people, live with dignity, and create stability for yourself and others. It is not something to fear. It is something to master responsibly. Breaking limiting beliefs also requires courage, because growth often means disappointing people who are comfortable with your old version. When you start thinking bigger, not everyone will understand you. Some may question your dreams. Some may project their fears onto you. A rich mindset knows when to listen and when to protect its vision. Your environment plays a powerful role in shaping belief. If you surround yourself with people who constantly complain, criticize success, or settle for less, your thinking will slowly shrink to match theirs. On the other hand, when you expose yourself to stories of growth, resilience, and achievement, your mind expands. You begin to see what is possible rather than what is missing. The mind is always looking for evidence to support what it believes. If you believe success is rare, you will notice failure everywhere. If you believe opportunity exists, you will start noticing doors opening in unexpected places. Reality does not change first. Perception does, and perception shapes action. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is replacing the question, why can't I, or with how can I? The first keeps you trapped in limitation. The second activates creativity. Rich thinking is solution-oriented. It does not deny challenges, but it refuses to be defined by them. As you begin breaking old beliefs, discomfort will arise. Doubt may grow louder before it fades. This is normal. Your mind is adjusting to unfamiliar territory. Do not mistake discomfort for danger. It is often a sign of growth. Every expanded belief feels unnatural at first, until it becomes your new normal. Confidence grows not from perfection, but from action. Each small step taken despite fear weakens limiting beliefs. Each effort made without certainty builds trust in yourself. Over time, your inner dialogue changes. You stop seeking permission. You stop waiting for validation. You start moving with quiet certainty. A rich life is not built by people who never doubt themselves. It is built by people who refuse to let doubt make their decisions. They act before they feel ready. They learn as they go. They grow through the process. Breaking limiting beliefs is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice. Every day you choose thoughts that expand rather than restrict. Every day you challenge comfort and lean toward growth. Every day you remind yourself that your potential is greater than your past. When old beliefs fall away, space opens up for new identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who struggles and start seeing yourself as someone who is evolving. You stop labeling yourself by past mistakes and start defining yourself by future intentions. This is the moment where thinking rich becomes living rich. Not because money has arrived yet, but because freedom has. Freedom from fear. Freedom from old stories. Freedom to choose differently. Your life will only grow as large as the beliefs you allow. Break the chains, and abundance no longer feels distant. It feels inevitable, and this is only the beginning. Chapter 3. The Habits That Create Wealth. Wealth is rarely the result of one big moment. It is almost always the outcome of small decisions repeated consistently over time. While most people search for shortcuts, lucky breaks, or sudden transformations, truly rich individuals understand a simple truth. Your habits are quietly building your future every single day. Whether you are aware of it or not, the way you think, act, and respond to life is shaping your financial reality. Many people believe wealth comes from intelligence or opportunity, but habits matter far more than talent. Talent may open a door, but habits determine how far you walk through it. A rich life is not built on occasional motivation, but on daily discipline. The difference between struggle and success often lies in what you do when no one is watching. Wealthy thinkers are intentional about how they use their time. They understand that time is the one resource that never returns. Instead of constantly reacting to life, they design routines that support growth. They prioritize learning, planning, and self-improvement, even when it feels uncomfortable or boring. While others waste hours distracted, rich thinkers invest minutes wisely, knowing those minutes compound into years of progress. One of the most powerful wealth-building habits is conscious thinking. Rich individuals monitor their thoughts carefully. They do not allow negativity, fear, or self-doubt to run unchecked. This does not mean they ignore reality or pretend challenges do not exist. It means they choose thoughts that lead to solutions rather than paralysis. Over time, this mental discipline creates emotional strength and clarity, both essential for financial success. Another critical habit is responsibility. Wealthy people take full ownership of their outcomes. They do not blame the economy, the government, their family, or their past for where they are. This sense of responsibility is empowering because it places control back into their hands. When you accept that your choices shape your future, you also accept that you can change it. Consistency is where most people fail. They start strong, filled with excitement and ambition, but stop when progress slows. Rich habits are built during ordinary days, not extraordinary ones. They show up even when results are invisible. They continue even when motivation fades. This quiet persistence separates those who dream from those who achieve. Wealthy individuals also cultivate the habit of learning. They understand that the world is constantly changing, and those who stop learning fall behind. Instead of seeing education as something that ends with school, they treat learning as a lifelong investment. They read, listen, observe, and adapt. Every new skill becomes another tool for creating value and income. Money management itself is a habit, not a talent. Many people earn well but remain broke because they never learn how to manage what they have. Rich thinkers respect money. They track it, plan with it, and use it intentionally. They avoid emotional spending and short-term pleasure that compromises long-term freedom. They understand that wealth is not about how much you earn, but how much you keep and grow. Delayed gratification is one of the strongest predictors of financial success. The ability to say no to small comforts today in exchange for larger rewards tomorrow is a habit that builds wealth quietly and steadily. Rich people do not deny themselves joy. They simply choose sustainable joy over temporary pleasure. Another defining habit is the willingness to act despite uncertainty. Waiting for perfect conditions keeps most people stuck forever. Wealthy individuals move forward with incomplete information. They learn by doing, adjust along the way, and grow through experience. Action creates clarity, not the other way around. Your environment also shapes your habits. Rich thinkers are intentional about what they consume mentally and emotionally. They choose content that inspires growth rather than fear. They spend time with people who challenge them rather than drain them. Over time, these choices influence standards, expectations, and behavior. One overlooked habit of wealthy individuals is reflection. They regularly pause to evaluate what is working and what is not. They learn from mistakes instead of repeating them. Reflection turns experience into wisdom. Without it, even hard work can lead to exhaustion rather than progress. Health is another quiet foundation of wealth. Energy, focus, and discipline all depend on physical and mental well-being. Rich thinkers understand that success is difficult to sustain without health. They invest in rest, movement, and balance, not as luxuries but as necessities. Perhaps the most important habit of all is identity alignment. Wealthy people act in ways that align with the person they are becoming, not the person they used to be. They ask themselves how a successful version of them would think, decide, and behave. Then they practice those behaviors daily until they become natural. Habits do not change overnight. They are built gradually through repetition and patience. Each small improvement strengthens confidence. Each consistent action builds momentum. Over time, effort feels lighter because discipline has replaced struggle. Living rich is not about waiting for wealth to arrive. It is about living with intention now. When your habits reflect abundance, your results eventually follow. Wealth is simply the external expression of internal discipline practiced over time. As you listen to this, remember that you do not need to change everything at once. You only need to begin. One better choice today leads to another tomorrow. Slowly, quietly, powerfully, your habits begin shaping a life that feels richer, freer, and more fulfilling. Think rich through your habits, and living rich will no longer be a distant dream. It will become your daily reality. Chapter 4: Vision, Purpose, and the Direction of Wealth. Wealth without direction feels empty, and effort without purpose feels exhausting. Many people work endlessly, chasing money, status, or approval, yet feel unfulfilled because they are moving without a clear vision. A rich life is not built by working harder alone. It is built by knowing where you are going and why you are going there. Vision gives wealth meaning, and purpose gives effort endurance. A clear vision acts like a compass for your life. It guides decisions, filters distractions, and gives you something to return to when motivation fades. Without vision, money becomes the goal instead of the tool. With vision, money becomes a resource that supports the life you are intentionally creating. Rich thinkers understand that clarity comes before abundance. Most people drift through life reacting to circumstances instead of designing outcomes. They accept routines they never chose and chase goals they never questioned. Over time, this creates frustration and confusion. Vision breaks this cycle. It forces you to define what success actually means to you, not what society, family, or social media tells you it should be. Purpose adds emotional depth to vision. It answers the deeper question of why you want more. Money alone is rarely enough to sustain long-term effort. There will be moments of doubt, delay, and difficulty. Purpose is what keeps you moving forward when rewards are not immediate. It transforms struggle into meaning and effort into fulfillment. Rich thinkers take time to imagine their future in detail. They do not just wish for wealth. They visualize how they want to live, how they want to feel, and how they want to contribute. This clarity creates emotional connection, and emotion fuels action. When your goals feel personal, discipline becomes easier. Vision also simplifies decision-making. When you know where you are going, it becomes easier to say no to distractions that do not align with your path. Opportunities that once looked attractive lose their appeal if they pull you away from your purpose. This focus protects your time, energy, and growth. Many people fear committing to a vision because they worry about choosing the wrong path. But clarity does not require perfection. Vision evolves as you grow. What matters is direction, not certainty. A rich mindset understands that movement creates insight. Standing still only creates doubt. Purpose-driven wealth is sustainable. It encourages patience instead of desperation. When you are clear about your values, you are less likely to chase quick wins that cost long-term stability. You build slowly, intentionally, and ethically. This kind of wealth lasts because it is rooted in alignment rather than impulse. Vision also influences identity. When you see yourself as someone building something meaningful, your behavior changes. You take yourself more seriously. You protect your time more carefully. You invest in growth more intentionally. You stop seeking validation and start seeking progress. Living rich means waking up with direction. It means knowing that your daily actions are connected to something larger than the moment. This sense of direction reduces anxiety and increases confidence. Even when progress is slow, purpose reminds you that you are moving forward. A powerful vision also attracts opportunity. When you are clear about what you want, you begin noticing resources, ideas, and connections that support it. Clarity sharpens awareness. You stop seeing random events and start seeing patterns. What once felt like luck begins to feel like alignment. Purpose changes the way you experience money. Instead of measuring success only by numbers, you measure it by impact, freedom, and fulfillment. Wealth becomes a means of expression rather than a source of pressure. You are not just to accumulate, but to create a life that reflects your values. Vision requires honesty. It asks you to confront what you truly want, not what feels safe or socially acceptable. This honesty can be uncomfortable, but it is necessary. A rich life cannot be built on borrowed dreams. It must be built on personal truth. As you grow, your vision may expand. Goals that once felt ambitious may begin to feel small. This is not a problem. It is progress. Rich thinkers allow themselves to evolve. They update their goals without guilt and adjust their direction without fear. Purpose also provides resilience. When challenges arise, vision reminds you why you started. When progress feels slow, purpose reassures you that the journey still matters. This emotional stability is essential for long-term success. Living rich is not about reaching a destination and stopping. It is about living in alignment every day. When your actions reflect your vision, life feels intentional rather than chaotic. Even simple moments carry meaning because they are connected to something greater. Your vision does not need to impress anyone else. It only needs to inspire you. When it does, effort becomes natural and growth becomes inevitable. Wealth follows clarity the way results follow action. As you continue this journey, remember that money flows most easily to those who know what they want and why they want it. Think rich by defining your direction. Live rich by walking it with purpose. Chapter 5. Money as a tool, not a master. For many people, money is a source of stress, fear, and confusion. It controls their decisions, limits their choices, and dictates their lifestyle. But for those who think rich, money is not a master to be obeyed. It is a tool to be used. This shift in perspective changes everything. When money stops controlling you, you begin controlling your life. Most financial struggle does not come from a lack of income, but from a lack of understanding. People are taught how to own money, but rarely how to think about it. Without clarity, money becomes emotional. It is spent impulsively, feared constantly, or chased endlessly. A rich mindset removes emotion from money and replaces it with intention. When you see money as a tool, you stop assigning it power over your self-worth. You no longer measure your value by your bank balance or compare your success to others. You understand that money reflects decisions, habits, and timing, not identity. This emotional distance allows you to make better choices. A powerful shift happens when you stop working for money alone and start using money to work for you. Instead of spending first and saving what remains, rich thinkers plan first and spend intentionally. They give money direction before it disappears. This clarity reduces stress and builds confidence. Many people unknowingly save money. They stay in jobs they dislike, tolerate unhealthy environments, and sacrifice their time and energy because they fear losing income. Rich thinkers seek freedom, not dependence. They aim to build systems and skills that create options rather than obligations. Understanding money as a tool also means respecting it. You do not misuse tools if you want them to last. You learn how they work, when to use them, and when to put them away. Money deserves the same discipline. Respect leads to control, and control leads to growth. Fear around money often comes from uncertainty. When you do not know where your money goes or how it supports your goals, anxiety grows. Clarity reduces fear. Rich thinkers track, plan, and review their finances regularly. This awareness creates calm and confidence. A rich relationship with money is built on trust. You trust yourself to make wise decisions. You trust your ability to earn again. You trust that money flows toward value and effort over time. This trust reduces desperation and encourages patience. Using money as a tool also means aligning it with purpose. Wealth without meaning leads to emptiness. When money supports your values, it enhances your life rather than complicating it. You feel empowered rather than pressured. Many people believe that having more money will solve all their problems. But money magnifies who you already are. If you lack discipline, money amplifies chaos. If you lack clarity, money amplifies confusion. Rich thinking focuses on building character before accumulation. Financial growth requires delayed gratification. Choosing long-term stability over short-term pleasure is not easy, but it is necessary. Rich thinkers understand that every spending decision is also a life decision. Where your money goes, your future follows. Another important shift is learning to see money as energy. It flows toward value, creativity, and service. When you focus on contributing rather than consuming, money responds. This mindset reduces fear and increases opportunity. Living rich does not mean obsessing over money. It means integrating it wisely into your life. Money should support your well-being, not replace it. True wealth includes peace of mind, freedom of time, and alignment with values. A rich thinker also understands generosity. When money is a tool, sharing becomes natural. Giving is not about loss. It is about circulation. Generosity reinforces abundance thinking and strengthens emotional wealth. Control over money brings freedom of choice. You choose how to spend your time, where to invest your energy, and what kind of life to live. This freedom is the true reward of wealth. As you grow financially, your responsibility grows as well. Using money wisely creates stability not only for you but for those who depend on you. Wealth becomes a foundation, not a burden. Thinking rich means mastering money without being mastered by it. Living rich means allowing money to enhance your life without defining it. When money becomes a tool, life becomes intentional. As you move forward, remember this truth. Money is powerful, but only when placed in the right hands. Those hands are yours. Chapter 6. Discipline, Consistency, and the Long Game. Success rarely arrives suddenly, but failure often comes quietly. It shows up in skipped routines, postponed decisions, and broken promises made to oneself. Discipline is what protects dreams from slow erosion. It is not loud or exciting, but it is powerful. Those who think rich understand that discipline and consistency are the invisible engines behind every lasting success. Most people rely on motivation, but motivation is unpredictable. It rises and falls with mood, energy, and circumstance. Discipline remains when motivation disappears. It is the decision to act according to your goals rather than your feelings. A rich mindset respects emotion, but is not controlled by it. Consistency compounds. Small actions repeated daily create results that appear effortless from the outside, but require patience on the inside. Wealth is built in layers. Each disciplined choice adds strength to the foundation. Over time, what once felt difficult becomes automatic. The long game requires patience, and patience requires perspective. Rich thinkers understand that meaningful success takes time. They do not rush progress or compare timelines. They focus on direction rather than speed. This mindset protects them from burnout and discouragement. Discipline also builds self-trust. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you reinforce confidence. You begin to trust your ability to keep promises to yourself. This trust becomes a powerful asset, strengthening decision-making and resilience. Many people quit just before momentum builds. They mistake slow progress for failure. Rich thinkers see slow periods as part of the process. They stay steady during uncertainty, knowing that consistency eventually creates breakthroughs. The long game also requires emotional discipline. Fear, doubt, and impatience must be managed, not avoided. Rich individuals learn to pause before reacting. They choose thoughtful responses over impulsive decisions. This emotional stability supports better financial choices. Time is a powerful ally when paired with discipline. While others seek shortcuts, rich thinkers build systems. They invest in habits that produce results repeatedly. Over time, systems outperform effort. Living rich means understanding that freedom is earned through structure. Discipline creates space for creativity, rest, and enjoyment. Without structure, freedom collapses into chaos. Consistency does not require perfection. Missed days and mistakes are part of growth. What matters is returning to commitment without self-judgment. Rich thinkers recover quickly. They do not allow temporary setbacks to define their identity. The long game also teaches humility. There's always more to learn, refine, and improve. Growth remains ongoing. Rich individuals stay curious and adaptable. Every discipline choice is a vote for the future you want. Over time, these votes add up to transformation. What once felt impossible becomes inevitable. Think rich by committing to the process. Live rich by honoring consistency. The long game always rewards those who stay. Chapter 7. Overcoming fear, failure, and self-doubt. Fear is one of the greatest silent barriers to wealth. It rarely announces itself openly. Instead, it disguises itself as caution, logic, or waiting for the right time. Most people are not held back by lack of opportunity, but by the fear of making the wrong decision. Rich thinkers do not live without fear. They simply refuse to let fear make their choices. Failure is often misunderstood. It is not proof of inability but evidence of effort. Every successful person has failed more times than most people have tried. The difference is not talent but resilience. Rich thinkers see failure as feedback, not a final verdict. They listen, adjust, and move forward stronger. Self-doubt often appears when growth demands change. The moment you step outside familiarity, the mind searches for reasons to retreat. It questions worth, ability, and timing. This inner resistance is not a sign that you are incapable. It is a sign that you are evolving. Fear thrives on imagination without action. The more you delay, the larger fear becomes. Rich thinkers act before fear grows roots. They take small, deliberate steps forward. Action weakens fear because it replaces uncertainty with experience. Failure teaches lessons that success cannot. It builds perspective, humility, and emotional strength. Each setback sharpens awareness. Rich thinkers extract wisdom from loss rather than carrying regret. Self-doubt fades through evidence. Every completed task, every brave decision, every challenge faced builds confidence. Confidence is not a personality trait. It is a result of repeated action. Many people wait for fear to disappear before acting. Rich thinkers act while fear is present. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement despite it. Living rich requires emotional bravery. It requires choosing growth over comfort and belief over certainty. Over time, fear loses influence, and trust in oneself grows. Think rich by reframing failure. Live rich by trusting your journey. Fear fades when purpose leads. Chapter 8. Creating multiple streams of income and value. True financial security is not built on a single source of income. Depending on one stream places your freedom in fragile hands. Rich thinkers understand that stability comes from diversification, not desperation. They do not chase money blindly. They create value in multiple ways, allowing income to flow from different directions over time. Most people trade time for money. When time stops, income stops. This creates pressure, fear, and limitation. Rich thinkers look beyond effort-based earnings and focus on value-based income. They ask how their skills, knowledge, creativity, or resources can continue working even when they are not actively present. Creating multiple income streams is not about doing everything at once. It is about building intentionally. Rich individuals often begin with one primary source and strengthen it. Once stability is created, they expand thoughtfully. Each new stream is aligned with their skills, interests, or long-term vision. Value creation sits at the center of sustainable income. Money flows toward solutions. When you focus on solving problems, income becomes a natural result. Rich thinkers listen carefully to needs around them and respond with creativity. This mindset shifts income from something you chase to something you attract. Another powerful shift is learning to separate effort from reward. Hard work alone does not guarantee wealth. Strategic effort does. Rich thinkers seek leverage, systems, and scalability. They design income streams that grow with time rather than demand constant effort. Multiple income streams also reduce fee. When one stream slows, others support you. This flexibility creates emotional stability and confidence. You make decisions from clarity rather than panic. Freedom grows as dependence shrinks. Building additional income streams requires patience. Early stages often bring slow progress and limited returns. Rich thinkers remain consistent, knowing that growth compounds. They resist the urge to quit too soon or jump endlessly between ideas. Living rich also means protecting your energy. Not every opportunity deserves your attention. Rich thinkers choose quality over quantity. They build streams that align with their values and lifestyle rather than sacrificing peace for profit. Income diversity also expands identity. You stop seeing yourself as limited to one role. You begin seeing yourself as a creator, problem solver, and builder. This shift strengthens confidence and adaptability. True wealth grows when income is connected to purpose. Streams built only for money often collapse under pressure. Streams built on value endure because they evolve with needs. Think rich by creating value beyond effort. Live rich by allowing income to support freedom, not control it. Chapter 9. Living Rich Beyond Money. Many people believe that living rich begins when the bank balance grows, but true richness often reveals itself long before wealth becomes visible. Money can enhance life, but it cannot replace meaning, peace, or fulfillment. Rich thinkers understand that wealth is incomplete if it exists only in numbers. A truly rich life is one that feels abundant from the inside out. Living rich begins with control over time. Time freedom is one of the most valuable forms of wealth. When you can choose how your days unfold, stress reduces and intention increases. Rich individuals work toward designing lives where time supports well-being, growth, and connection rather than constant urgency. Emotional wealth plays a powerful role in overall success. Peace of mind, self-respect, and inner confidence shape daily experience more than money ever could. When you are emotionally grounded, decisions become clearer and relationships healthier. Wealth without emotional stability often leads to emptiness rather than fulfillment. Living rich also means cultivating gratitude without losing ambition. Gratitude grounds you in the present, while ambition pulls you toward growth. The balance of both creates contentment without stagnation. Rich thinkers appreciate progress without becoming addicted to comparison. Relationships are another dimension of wealth often overlooked. Supportive connections provide strength, perspective, and encouragement. A rich life includes people who inspire growth, honesty, and mutual respect. Wealth feels hollow when success cannot be shared. Health is a foundational form of richness. Energy, clarity, and vitality allow you to enjoy what you build. Rich thinkers protect their physical and mental well-being because they understand that success loses meaning without the ability to experience it fully. Living rich also includes freedom from constant validation. When self-worth no longer depends on external approval, confidence grows naturally. You begin living according to values rather than expectations. This inner alignment brings peace that money alone cannot buy. Purpose gives wealth direction. When daily actions align with values, life feels intentional. Even challenges feel meaningful because they serve growth. Rich living is not about avoiding difficulty, but about choosing challenges worth facing. A rich life allows space for reflection. Silence, rest, and awareness help you stay connected to yourself. Without reflection, even success can feel empty. Rich thinkers regularly pause to realign with what matters. Ultimately, living rich means feeling whole. It means knowing that wealth is supporting your life, not replacing it. Money becomes one part of a larger, fulfilling picture. Think rich by valuing what cannot be bought. Live rich by designing a life that feels abundant every day. Chapter 10. Becoming the person who lives rich. Wealth is not something you chase forever. At some point, it becomes something you embody. The journey of thinking rich and living rich ultimately leads to one truth. Success is not about what you achieve, but about who you become along the way. Money responds to identity. Lifestyle reflects character. And lasting wealth follows those who grow into the person capable of sustaining it. Becoming rich in life begins with internal alignment. When your thoughts, actions, and values move in the same direction, effort feels lighter and progress feels natural. You are no longer forcing success, you are allowing it. This alignment is what separates temporary wins from lasting fulfillment. Many people focus on outcomes without transforming identity. They want wealth without discipline, freedom without responsibility, and success without growth. Rich thinkers understand that identity comes first. When you change who you are being, what you attract begins to change as well. Living rich means operating from intention rather than reaction. You make decisions consciously instead of emotionally. You choose growth even when comfort feels tempting. You act with confidence even when certainty is absent. This self-leadership becomes the foundation of freedom. A rich identity includes resilience. Challenges do not disappear as you grow. They evolve. The difference is how you respond. Instead of breaking under pressure, you rise through it. You trust your ability to adapt, learn, and continue forward. This trust is priceless. Becoming wealthy also means releasing the need to prove yourself. When self-worth is internal, you stop chasing validation and start creating value. You move quietly, steadily, and purposefully. Your focus shifts from impressing others to improving yourself. Living rich requires presence. Success is not only about reaching the next goal, but appreciating the journey. When you learn to be present, achievement becomes meaningful rather than exhausting. You stop postponing happiness and start experiencing fulfillment now. A rich life also includes responsibility. As you grow, your influence grows. Your choices affect more than just yourself. True wealth includes integrity, contribution, and awareness. Giving becomes natural when abundance flows from within. The person who lives rich understands that growth never ends. There is always another level of awareness, discipline, and refinement. This continuous evolution keeps life exciting and purposeful. Wealth becomes dynamic rather than static. Thinking rich becomes instinctive over time. You naturally look for solutions. You naturally choose long-term benefits over short-term comfort. You naturally invest in yourself. What once required effort becomes second nature. Living rich means waking up with clarity, moving with confidence, and resting with peace. It means knowing that your life is intentional, your direction is clear, and your potential is still unfolding. This feeling is the true reward of the journey. As this audiobook comes to an end, remember that nothing here is theory. It is a way of living, a way of thinking, a way of choosing. Every day offers a new opportunity to think richer, live fuller, and grow stronger. You are not waiting to become rich someday. You are becoming that person now. One decision, one habit, one belief at a time. Think rich, live rich, and let your life reflect the abundance you have always carried within you.